Oh, nice GTI. Oh wait, this is my GTI. That's right, this is my 2019 GTI. It's a Mark 7.5. It's pushing about 400 horsepower to the front tires with an IS38 turbocharger and full 85. The previous videos on my channel really only show unboxing videos, this car going up against other cars and things of that nature, but it never really explains about the best things that I really love about this setup, being a 400 wheel, and the parts that really shine out to me the most. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and talk just about that. Here are the top 5 things I really enjoy about this Mark 7.5 GTI. Let's get right into it. First thing on the list brings us to the inside of the car, and it's nothing to do with this. It's actually going to be the shifter, because the gearing on these cars is so long. It really makes a difference, and I feel like it really makes this setup shine. With 400 horsepower to the front tires and long gearing on highway, this thing it's pretty quick. There's lots of other cars out there that really get surprised by this thing, and I really do feel like it's the gearing that really helps it out. With the IS38 turbocharger, you get that more top end pulling all the way closer towards redline there, and with the long gearing, it just wants to keep pulling and pulling. While other cars are shifting, this is still in gear in the power band. I do feel like this is a pretty good advantage with this gearing setup. If I had opted out for the DSG version of this car, of this GTI, it would have been 7 gears or the 7-speed transmission, which would have tightened up the gearing a little bit and it would have made it shorter. But since I opted out for the 6-speed, I went ahead and got the longer gearing option. So that's one of the things I really like about this car, and it's crazy. If you even look at this as we drive, first gear, second gear, just kind of revving it all the way out to about 3 or 4 grand. You're already hitting about 35 miles or 40 miles an hour. That's already speed limit. So yeah, this gearing is pretty crazy. It takes some getting used to in the beginning, but I feel like once you get the hang of it, it's pretty damn useful. Second thing on the list, thing number 2, this brings us outside. We are in the back side of the car, and it is going to be how quiet these cars are, even making X amount of horsepower. Now what I mean by that is the fact that these cars don't require an aftermarket exhaust to be quick. Usually the factory exhaust is a very restrictive part of vehicles, and by adding an aftermarket exhaust or muffler, you can really free up extra horsepower. Now, while I don't deny that having an upgraded exhaust system on this car would add a few extra horsepower, I feel like for this particular setup, it's not really necessary. It was still able to put the power down really nice with no issues and while being quiet. So I did save a few extra $100 from buying an exhaust system, and I also saved time from installing it, and then also saved myself the haggle and trouble of having loud mufflers and bringing unwanted attention. So that's why this lands at number 2. The car is currently just running an aftermarket downpipe, and that's all it needed to make the gains that it has today. Moving on to number 3. So what I really like about this car is just how torque monsters these engines are. Like this, for example, second gear and go. Third gear. Oh shit! Woo! Woo! I love it. So quick, guys. Oh my god. And just like that, you run out of the road quickly. The E8 888.3 engine on the Volkswagen and Audi cars, they really produce a lot of torque. You get a handful of mid-range and it just wants to keep pulling. It really pushes your back in your seat. You combine that with the weight of the vehicle being about like 3,000 pounds, and this thing is a monster. It's crazy because sometimes I didn't have to do full throttle in lower gears. Even doing about like 45 to 50% will be enough to kind of break the front tires loose. It's just wild how this car can do that. Now, if you don't know me, I've come from a Civic Si before this car. So jumping from a Honda Civic that's naturally aspirated 2.4 liter to this turbo car, this is my first turbo car. Feeling that much amount of torque with it being tuned and everything, my God. That Civic would not stand a chance against this car. I love Hondas and they're really awesome cars, but I feel like with something like this, it really sets like the benchmark for you. And the next car you're gonna have from years to come, you're gonna compare it a lot to this car when it comes to the power band, trust me. I've seen people who swapped out from this car to V8s, and some of them still say that they do miss their GTI from back in the day. So just something to note, guys. This thing is so torquey and it really pushes you back in your seat. Now you combine that amount of torque with the power band and the long gearing, this is the outcome. Really freaking nice. Number 4. We are back inside the GTI. What I really like about this car is in fact the inside, the overall layout of everything. It's pretty simple. I love how the steering wheel setup is with the flat bottom. I got the red GTI engraved there, and just the cop set, just the overall setup. I really love how this looks. Everything is very easy to read, easy to monitor. It's also just about the type of plastics and materials used in this car. For it being about like a 30 grand, 25-ish thousand dollar car, I really feel like you get a lot of car for the money. There's a lot of subtle things that really stand out to me in this car. For example, driving in the nighttime. Let me show you really quick. If we were to turn on the lights, I love how these just have like a red glow to them. You can't really tell right now because it's daytime, but these just have such a nice red glow to them, and just like the honeycomb design right there. There you go. These little things that really make the interior feel nicer than the cost of the vehicle. I know the Mark 8 is out and all the buttons are gone. Some people like it, some people don't. I personally would prefer some buttons, but it is what it is. But overall, this interior is really nice. Slightly bigger screen on the Mark 7.5. Overall, nice place to be. I think they really nailed it with this one. Number 5. Now the last thing on this list is gonna be the paint job. If you haven't already noticed, this is a white silver metallic. It's kind of a rare color, uncommon color from Volkswagen. A lot of people think this is a wrap, and it's not. That's what's really funny about it. It makes me feel like I don't even have to wrap the car because it's already such a different color. The white silver, it really pops, it really shines in multiple amounts of lighting. Now what I mean by that, right now we're kind of like in the shade and it just looks like a normal white car, but the moment you bring this outside and you see like the reflections of everything, color just immediately changes. Look right here, perfect example. The white Mercedes, white silver GTI. You can see the difference now that the sun is actually hitting it. It looks like a wrap, right? I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, guys, but look at that difference right there. And that's why I love this paint job so much. It just stands out. It's a lot different. And I love the way it looks. It really makes the car stand out and it makes it unique. I feel like the most common colors with these cars is pure white. Having something like an off-white color with these bronze wheels that have really grown on to me really makes the car look that much better. Nice paint job, Volkswagen. You know what's funny enough though? I actually wanted to get a pure white GTI when I was looking for one. And when I responded to the dealer about this white GTI they had in stock with the same stock number, it was actually white silver. So I pulled up to the dealership thinking I was gonna get that white one. When I punched in the stock number, it turned out it was white silver when they were pulling it around the lot. So funny enough, it was kind of a surprise to me, and I actually decided to give the color a chance and I ended up really liking it. It really grew on me. So yeah, fun fact about this car. If I were to choose again, yeah, I would have probably gotten this color again. Well, so that concludes the top 5 things I really like about this car. Are you sold on it yet? You shouldn't be, because we haven't even went over the top 5 things I really dislike about this car and this build. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be the next video. But I also want to hear what you guys think about the Mark 7 GTI. What are some things that you really love about it, and what are some things you really dislike about this car? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be responding to each and every one. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and hope to see you on the next one. If you enjoyed this video at any moment in time, give it a like, because it really helps out the channel. Peace.
What's cooking? Bust it.